Hey guys, it's Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I am back with yet another sketchbook tour. So today I'm actually doing a relatively old sketchbook. It's actually about a year old now, and I don't know how, but I just somehow missed going through it in my last sort of sketchbook haul sort of thing, or not sketchbook haul, sketchbook tour stuff. But this is actually a sketchbook that's pretty near and dear to me. This is a sketchbook that my brother actually got me. It's got a Slytherin embossed icon on the front, or emblem on the front, because I identify as a Slytherin. Mostly due to ambition and I'm not sure how to describe myself as a Slytherin. I always find that really difficult, but ambition and affinity for villains and stuff like that. I will say from the beginning, a bit of a gore warning. I do know that I did some of this going up to October and prepping for Goretober, so there is some body horror in this as a fair warning, and I would just like you to know beforehand, so in case anyone is squeamish about that, then they don't have to watch this one. But I'm pretty proud of this. This sketchbook, as I said, was a Christmas present, and I believe it is a official Universal Harry Potter sketchbook. I'm not sure if that is focusing or not. There we go. Universal Orlando Wizarding World Harry Potter sketchbook. I was actually really surprised when he found this, and if it would focus again, that would be fantastic. Hello, here's my hand. But I'm going to talk while it tries to refocus. Basically, he got this for me as a Christmas present, and I was super surprised because I didn't think that you could find, these things without them being lined. I thought they were only lined and not blank, but he found me a blank one, and I'm really, really happy with that. So this is covering my personal information. I started this on, I don't know if you can see that, on the, that's very tiny writing, on the 7th of, the 8th of, so that's like July-ish. So maybe it wasn't quite October, but it was a summer sketchbook, I suppose. This I remember actually getting from camp, so it very much was a summer sketchbook. So it was about a year ago, because it's like almost August now, so I started this in July. And I started it with a picture of my brother, because I love him. And he was having a bad self-esteem day, and me being supportive, I'm like, no, you look fine. So I drew him a picture, trying to cheer him up. Here's some stuff with Luke and Lamb, mostly because I enjoy sketching in fine liners sometimes, and especially around this time I was trying to sketch in pen more often, and this is still not quite focusing properly, but I really like trying to sketch in pen and fine liner, and especially sepia colors for the sketchbook, because it does have this really nice textured tone paper. And this is around the time that I first started working with Luke and Lamb, so I was doing a lot of experimentation. Already looking back on this, I can see a lot of different things that I've improved on this year in general. Here's a group sketch of Lamb and Luke and the Neolands crew. Some just notes from camp that I'm skipping over. More stuff with Luke and Lamb. Just in general, I did a lot of Luke and Lamb in the sketchbook with pencil at first, because I believe I took this to camp. This was a picture of Luke working on his birthday, and Lamb just picking up and going and taking him to bed. But I have very much since this sketchbook refined Luke and Lamb's design since then, and it's really nice to just look back on these old designs. Just to see how much I've grown, especially since a lot of these were done in pen, since I was doing that a lot. I remember this one was done with silver nail polish, so it does have a shimmer to it. I don't know if that captures very well, but it does have a shimmer to it because it was with nail polish. This one I did And then I later colored it with Copics, and I'm actually really happy with this picture. I think it's really, really nicely colored. It's got mostly like flat colors, but I think they look really clean. Picture a mini comic of Luke and Lamb. Doodle that I was going to do of Dativo that didn't end up working out. Or no, this was Marshall because it has a scar on his mouth. Some Gajinka stuff that I did that I never really finished. A picture of my OC Manuel. One thing I did notice about the sketchbook is that, like, when you do color stuff, it really, really pops. I'm not sure if it was just because of my coloring style at the time, or if it was just because of toned paper, and even though it's toned, it's not too dark. But it really, really pops when you color something, and I really like that about it. I would love to get another sketchbook with this, like, shade of cream paper. This is Antonio, another one of my OCs. Picture of Manuel. Picture of older Antonio. Picture of my friend's OC Ryan, and I remember this was when I was trying to get used to doing stuff with brush pen. It took a while for me to actually get used to it, but I eventually got back into it. My friend's OC Lydia. This is some stuff from Neolands, where, like, Cal was like, I'm gonna use diplomacy and everything, and Luke and Lim were like, I don't think that's gonna work, but okay. A Constance doodle of one of the characters, doodle of Lamb I never finished. I did a lot of sketching in this book, but this was like one of those books, this is Claudius, my OC, one of those books where this was before I like really learned how to effectively use my sketchbook. So as you can see, I'm only drawing on one side of the page, and there's sometimes blank spaces here, and I'm doing a lot of like finished work in this thing, or at least more than I do now. And while I do miss doing these things, and this is my OC Abel, and my friend's OC Ryan, while I do miss doing some of these things, it's one of those things that I'm glad that I learned not to do some of this stuff, but I kind of wish I could go back and capture like some of all these finished work things that I had. This is my OC, well, his name isn't Bard, he doesn't really have a name, he goes by the Bard, but I wanted to do something pastel gory, and he's missing an arm and an eye, so I figured that would be kind of cool to try and do some fun stuff with that. So I gave him like a thorn and flower crown and stuff like that. I really like this picture as well. I think it's really neat. Picture of Luke in his boyfriend's clothes. Lamb in his boyfriend's clothes. I don't remember what this was. I believe this was a figure drawing and I turned it into an OC doodle, and this is of Dativo. I think I was trying to draw my OC Lamb with a flower crown on top of his helmet. This is half of an art trade I did with one of the other Neolands players, Jinx, and or not Jinx, Duncan, and his character's name is Jinx. So I drew Jinx trying to toss a jump out of the air and do a death from above and slam a flower crown on Lamb's head. Some red pencil sketches of two of my villain OCs. Doing some stuff based on the epigraph battles of history, Mythbusters versus Ghostbusters one, because I thought that was a really cool pose and I wanted to draw it. A crayon doodle of my character Regis. This was from, I remember this distinctly, from college, my art school's initiation, because they gave us crayons, and of course I'm going to try drawing with the crayons. I tried to do some foot gestures because I didn't really understand feet at the time, and then a hand gesture to figure out how feet was similar to hands. I've gotten a lot better with feet since then. My character Larko is a doxy. Then Czar with doing a pen sketch with Czar, who is like another one of my villain OCs. Tried to draw a dragon, didn't really turn out, but I tried. More hand gestures in pen. My character Gisela. I did a lot of sketching where I didn't erase the undersketch with this, and I kind of want to go back to that at some point, but I haven't gotten to a point where I'm like happy with sketching as lightly as I did and then going over it with pen again, so I want to get back into that habit at some point. This is a picture of my OC Meligant as a dryad. I'm slightly out of frame, I'm sorry. Some purple brush pen doodles, my character Current. I ended up not really liking this brush pen, so I traded it off. I believe it was one of those Pentel ink-filled brush pens, as opposed to like a Pentel pocket brush pen. They just aren't really for me. I find the flow of them a little bit too jarring and not really consistent enough, at least for my tastes. But for other people, they work great. Some hatching shading of my OC Luke. I think this was when I was trying to figure out his proportions, and I drew him way too tall here, but I tried. Some art student sketches with Lamb. More art student sketches. My character 3. A bunch of doodles. I think it was doing... Oh, okay, so Ruben sketches. So this was doodles of a character named Ruben, and I was trying to get down what he looked like. Admittedly, I still don't particularly like any of these designs, but I remember I liked this one. But I tried a bunch of stuff that I didn't end up liking. So, this is, the King character from Voltron, Alfor? Yeah, Alfor. And I feel kind of ashamed for not knowing his name, since he is my favorite character, since he's the white-haired hot dad. Young versions of my characters, Esme and Sandoval, when they're kids, or not kids, they're young adults here, and Esme has an ex that keeps calling, and Sandoval... These two are cousins, and they're part of basically like a family salt squad. And this is them when they're older, so this is Sandoval when he's older, and Esme. A doodle of a character I don't really use. They're more of an NPC. Their name is Alba. Esme actually worked for Dean for a little bit before Dean fired him for, like, I don't remember what, actually. I have to look back at that NPC's information, but I believe Esme basically said, I'm not working for you anymore, and Dean's like, fine, where's your resignation letter? This is when I started playing a tabletop Pathfinder game with my friends at school, and I played a tiefling cleric, because I somehow always end up as the cleric. And so this is my first attempt at coloring said cleric. My character Larico, because I don't draw nearly enough horizontal compositions, so I want to try it again, try the, like, leaning on a desk sort of position. More brush pen doodles of Delka, my cleric Pathfinder. Doodle of Dativo as an inkmate, which was a closed species that my friend owns. A drawing of my character Tara holding a heart, and this is just because I want to practice some more pastel gore stuff. My friend TK's character Ryan with some more pastel gore getting ready for October. Another inkmate. This was actually a commission that I did. My commission info, by the way, is down below in the description. More Constance art. Vale and Michelle. I should have drawn a body with the rest of it. It just kind of looks like Vale's holding a decapitated head, but it was a doodle that I wanted to do because I didn't really block in my blacks as much, so I want to do that more often. Delka again, after he got stabbed a bunch of times, and I remember this one was actually in October, but I don't know if I finished it in October after I, like, went back to it. My character Leia. Her brother Vale as a demon for an RP that I did. Oh, and that was the last page. I actually was not expecting that to be the last page. I thought there was a couple more left. My bad. I am unprepared for this. Yeah, I technically finished the sketchbook on the 28th of September. 20th of September, but I did go back in October and finish up, like, this sketch into a finished piece for Goretober. I remember doing that. But yeah, it's one of those sketchbooks that I, like, has a lot of finished work in it, or at least more than usual, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I remember really, really loving the sketchbook in general, and I was very proud of it at the time, but my professor looked at my sketchbook and gave me a few tips on how to improve. So this was really like the last sketchbook I did before trying to implement the new techniques. And that's always a good thing, is when you have something that you can mark as like a significant change. So I was very, very proud of the sketchbook, and I'm very happy to have it, and I was very happy to use it, and I really want another one of these. I don't know where you can actually get it since mine was a gift, but it has a really nice leather cover, and it also has this strap that you can flip over that I apparently did not over when I was actually doing this, but it's just a really nice sketchbook, and the paper is a little bit thin, but I enjoyed working with it. It takes like most of my marker work really well and sketches well on it, so it's not one of those things that has a lot of feathering. But yeah, as per usual, if I mentioned anyone, which I don't think I did, but if I did, I will link them down in the description. I also have any of my social media over there, so you can contact me there. Or if you have anything that you want me to talk about or any questions, you can pop those down in the comments, and I will certainly answer them to the best of my ability. As usual, thank you so much for your support. Bye!